Click. All right, now to the betting odds surrounding the NFL win totals for the upcoming inaugural 17-game season. Caesars projects the Chiefs will have the greatest win total with 12, and the defending champion Buccaneers aren't far behind at 11.5. The Texans and Lions are on the opposite end of the spectrum with just 5 projected victories. Okay, Drink will play over-under 32 times starting in the AFC East, and the Bills, Caesars has them at 10.5, over-under.
I got them going over. I think they went 13-3 last season. I don't see what would stop them from doing that again this season. So I'm gonna take them on the over.
I agree. I think 10 and a half is a little conservative. You got to remember they got the extra game, so it's not like you have to ask them to go 11-5. They could be in 11-6. Josh Allen doing what he's doing, jumping up a little bit in the, dare I say, MVP type conversation, just a little bit.
Right.
Sean McDermott, exceptional coach. Yes, I think that's an over. The Dolphins, they project them at 9. They were 10-6 last year. Over under.
Same thing here for the Dolphins. Not necessarily the MVP conversation, but listen, they won 10 games last year, and they were still trying to figure it out. Pulling, him and Fitzpatrick going back and forth. Listen, we know they're going to have a draft that's going to be impactful one way or another. They got too many draft picks for it not to be. So at 9, I'm going to have to take the over. I think they could do 10 or better.
Yeah, I think that's an over. Yeah, I don't know if I see Tua in that MVP conversation yet either, but I do see him having an improved season. They've added some weapons for him. They got Will Fuller, Devontae Parker. He's no scrub. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that the Dolphins will not be able to be at least 10-7. I think that's an over. Bill Belichick, Cam Newton, and the Patriots in the free agent spending spree. Caesars has him at 9. What you got? Over under?
This might be an unpopular push here, but I'm gonna go with push. I'm gonna go push. I think they're gonna win 9. I do understand they're playing an extra game this season. I got that, but the AFC East is a lot more competitive now than it used to be, and I think the Patriots is clearly, for me, the third best team until I watch them play. As of right now, they're the third best team in that division. They're going to get their freebies off the Jets for sure. But I don't know if they're going to necessarily split with the Bills or the Dolphins. We don't know. We got to see play. So as of right now, I'm going with the push for the Patriots until I see how all these pieces mix together.
I'll give him an over. I just find it hard to believe that a team with that much, that is invested so much in so much talent, is going to be 9-8 or worse. I think Bill Belichick, he's got something to prove. I think Cam Newton's got something to prove. That they have upgraded this roster tremendously. Cam's going to have a lot more weapons. So yeah, I think that's an over. Jets, Vegas, I think they're a little generous here with the 6. What do you think? Is that an over or under?
You absolutely right, baby. I took the under with the gravy on it. Listen, I don't know where you get wins from, to be honest with you. Like where exactly? Who do you beat? No quarterback. A couple of good players that's not impactful because you don't got a quarterback. Your GM out here on a sabbatical. The owner, he worried about what's going on in other countries more than this one. Like, I went extra under on the Jets.
I went over on every other team in this division, so that would imply that those 3 teams are going to use the Jets as a punching bag, and they will. So yeah, this has got to be an under. I don't know where they get 6 wins. That's with it. If they don't have a quarterback, Robert Saleh, it's gonna be hard for him to generate a lot of wins at this team. I can't even name that many players on this team because they're just not very good. So I might wake up the GM so they can start accumulating some talent. Please do. On to the AFC North, the Ravens. We got them projected at 11. Over under.
I'm gonna say over. I'm gonna give them the extra game. I think they're gonna win the extra game. So I got the Ravens as a push. It was very tough. I got to see Lamar Jackson push up some. They didn't really give him no help in the offseason. I got it. Maybe the draft might give him some help. It's not over with. The Ravens can still make some moves as of right now, but I give them the credit where it's due. They won 11. I think they can do the same thing, and they can go over and win another one. So I'm going to say over.
I'm gonna give them a push. And because I was giving Lamar Jackson a lot of credit coming off his MVP season. I said he'd come out and he would be much improved throwing the football. We didn't see that. Part of that has to be that they just haven't invested in the weapons, although I think they tried for some guys. They tried to get Juju. They tried to get a couple other guys. Just didn't happen. So as of right now, with they're going to have to do something in the draft for me to believe a little bit more. So I'm going to give them a push. I think they do win 11. Cleveland at 10. They were 11-5 last year. Over under.
I'm taking the over, and I think Cleveland. By the way, I think they're going to be the divisional champs this year. If Baker Mayfield comes out here and act like he give a rip about being the former number 1 overall pick for the Cleveland Browns, they should win the division. This team is ready to win now. They just got to get, I don't know, they got to connect the dots or something. I don't know. But this team is built to win now. I think Kevin Stefanski has shown that he's an adult. He can make this program to make this organization go in the right direction. With that said, I'm going to take Cleveland with the over.
Yeah, it's giving me no pleasure in saying so, but I'll take the over. It's all going to be about Baker Mayfield. Cleveland just quite simply they have too much talent, and that could be very well a position to take. Maybe you do look at them as the team to beat in the division. You bring in Jadeveon Clowney to pair with Myles Garrett. They did just release Sheldon Richardson. Maybe that matters. But I mean, they have a formula: run the football, play action. Get pressure on the quarterback. Kevin Stefanski, you're right on the money about him. He's proved it that he can be that adult that they so desperately needed. And I'll go over for Cleveland. Pittsburgh, they were 12-4 last year, but they're only projected at 9 for the upcoming season. Over under.
I would take the over just because they got project 9. God, that's kind of low. I'm gonna take the over, not by much, but I do think they're gonna win more than 9 games, especially in the season where you get an extra game. I just gotta believe that they're gonna win more than 9, so I'm gonna take the over.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger was pretty good last year. They tailed off a little bit late, but the whole team did. But I mean, they got a little bit fortunate in free agency with some guys coming back. Juju came back, Tyson Alualu came back, Vince Williams came back. I think all of that matters. And Big Ben's going to have the same really good weaponry he had last year with Juju, Claypool, James Washington, Deontay Johnson. They got a new offensive coordinator. I thought a lot of Randy Finkner in years past, but I swear, I don't know what he was doing last year. They could not figure out anything about running the football. They get a running back. They get a little bit more physical up front. That defense is going to be what it does with Mike Tomlin and Keith Butler. I think this is an over. Cincinnati at 6.5, coming off that 4-11-1 season last year. Over under.
I'm gonna take the over. I think they win at least 7 games. If they had said 7, if the projection would have been 7, I would have said push. But since it's 6.5, I'm gonna say over. Listen, I'm not the most confident in the Bengals. I'm not going to sit here and act like I am. But I do like what Joe Burrow is doing. I do like him and T. Higgins. I just think they got enough where they can win at least 7 games. And, I mean, listen, they went 4-11. But we got to remember this. Joe Burrow got hurt at a certain point of the season, and it was over with at that point. It was done. Stick a fork in the rest of the season. Joe Burrow comes back. If he looks like Joe Burrow, I think they win 7. So, yeah, I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to go under just because I think if you say over, it's because you believe in Joe Burrow. If you say under, it's because
you don't believe in Joe Burrow.
Not because I think Joe Burrow had played as good as he could last year before he got hurt. I'm just unsure of this team. The offensive line still got question marks there. They got to keep him upright, and he can't get hurt and keep getting hurt behind that porous offensive line. So that's just the organization too. That's a hard place to have success, and because of that, I'm taking the under. The Colts newly acquired Carson Wentz back with his old mentor Frank Reich. They got him at 10 over under.
It's so easy. I'm taking the over. It just everything screams that this team's gonna win 13 games this year to me. Like I just feel like they're gonna be a 13-win team. They're going to win the division, too. Hey, I hear that. I hear about the rest of the division. Listen, Carson Wentz, people forget how good Carson Wentz is. I think we're gonna get a resurrection of Carson Wentz with the Frank Reich connection. Put them together. We already know how the rest of the coast is built to succeed. I think they win somewhere between 13 and 14 games. I'm gonna take the over.
If they can win 11 games with Phillip Rivers and his whole family, they can win 11 games with Carson Wentz. Yes, I'm taking it over because I don't think this division is all that good outside of Indianapolis. This is an over. The Titans at 9.5. They won 11 last year as well. Over under.
I'm gonna take the over with them too. I think they could. I just look at this team and say they can win 10 games. I mean, they can win 10 games. They won 11. They went 11-5 last year. You get them an extra game. Derrick Henry gonna come back in here doing what he do. Tannehill, you brought back. I mean, you did lose some talent. I thought you brought back enough talent to finish second in this division. So I'm gonna take the over with the Titans. I think they can win 10 or more games.
I'm taking the under. I know we don't have 500 teams no more, Boeing and Todd, but this looks like a 500 team to me with Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry. It's all about Derrick Henry and how far he can carry you. I think he's going to have a little bit of a pullback year, and because of that, Ryan Tannehill is going to way pullback year. We know he's not worth whatever they're paying him, and because of that, this is a slight under for me. Jacksonville, they got him at 6, up from 1-15 last year. It's a lot of love for Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll take the over if I had to do the 1-15 part. Like 6? No, absolutely not. I'm going to take the under. Here's the deal. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Jacksonville, but here's the deal. You got a new head coach. You're going to have a new quarterback. That means that's a new system. If you think I'm blowing smoke, let's go look at Arizona 2 years ago when you had a new quarterback and a new coach. You got to figure this out. I got it. Urban Meyer, one of the best coaches to do this. This is the NFL. It hits a little different in the NFL. So you're going to have to learn something. You're going to have to do more. And with that said, I'm going to take that whopping under for Jacksonville.
If it was 1-15 over under, that might be a push for me. But yeah.
Expect a phone call from George later.
Yeah. This is all for his benefit, by the way. But I can't. I feel like going from 1 to 6, even though we assume Trevor Lawrence will be a huge upgrade. Urban Meyer should be a huge upgrade, but you got to feel like there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for that.
Right.
And because of that, 4 or 5 win team for me. This is a slight under. Houston, one of the aforementioned bottom of the barrel projection teams. They were 4-12 last year. They're getting a little love to 5. What do you think? Over under?
Under. Like, you won 4 games with a Deshaun Watson. Now, if he don't play because of everything that's going on, you're going to win 5 games? Man, please. I'm taking the under on that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I see no conceivable way they can go 5-12. And this Deshaun Watson thing has turned just spiraling out of control. Even if he does play, I don't know, what does he have?
How focused will he be?
How focused? And I know they imported some other running back who used to. They got Philip Lindsay in there. I'm sure him, David Johnson, and just it all sounds questionable. Their free agency. Oh yeah, their free agency stuff they did. It didn't make a lot of sense. It looked like they was trying to compete move for move with New England, but it was just losing. So first year head coach, quarterback. We don't know what's going on. The defense doesn't have anybody. J.J. Watt's out of town. Yeah, I see no way they can get to 5 wins. It's an under. Kansas City Chiefs, they got them at 12, over under.
I'm going to take the over. Like, they won 14 games last year while poo-pooing around. Now we just seen them get smoked in the Super Bowl. You don't think they're going to come back and want to do something about that? I'm going to take the over on that. I see them winning between 15 and 16 games. Beyond. They got a point to prove. They looked at very bad in the Super Bowl. We seen them look about as worse as they looked since Patrick Mahomes been there. I just got to believe they coming back with vengeance.
Yeah, I agree. 12 does seem a little safe. At the if he was playing conservative, you say it's a push, and I'll be a little bit more aggressive. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league. They've just what they're doing with that offense. It's ridiculous. Their defense just has to be somewhat competent. They have been. I think they continue to be. Yeah, that's an over. Chargers, they got them at 9 off a good rookie season from Justin Herbert. New coach in town. Over under.
I'm gonna have to take the under, and it's only because this is back to what we were saying last year when we was talking about the coach firing. I just felt like you got to give Anthony Lynn another year to figure, like him and for Herbert to get together. Instead, you booted him out. You brought in this cat, another no-name cat that got hired this offseason, and now Justin Herbert got to learn everything new again. Dude, it's only his second year, folks. It's only his second year. Now they just revamped the whole scheme. And hey, Justin, it's on your back. Take us to the promised land. I feel like that's gonna be a lot for the young man, so I'm gonna take the under for the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. It could be just a little bit of a sophomore slump coming at you. You know, I do agree. I think the thing that bothered me the most was they went a defensive coach as opposed to bringing in an offensive guy to work with the young quarterback, Justin Herbert. So because of that, I'm going to take the under as well. The Las Vegas Raiders, in what is it, year 4 or 5 or something or another, out of John Gruden's lifetime $100 million contract. They got him at 8, and that is a under 500 projection. What do you think? Over under?
I'm taking the under. Listen? They sold their whole offensive line. Like I don't. The minute they got rid of a very productive offensive line, I was like, wait, what is John? Wait, I guess you could do that when you got a contract like his. So listen, at the end of the day, I'm taking the under. I don't know what the hell they doing in Las Vegas other than opening the city back up for events. But with that said, this ain't gonna cut it. I'm taking the under. I don't know what's going on with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm going to take the under. I don't like what I saw from getting rid of a lot of that offensive line, Rodney Hudson, Trent Brown, just to name a few. That was a big part of what they could do well with Josh Jacobs and keeping Derek Carr upright. And outside of that, I'm just, thinking about it. I don't see how much better they've gotten at other positions at this point. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm gonna say under. And the Denver Broncos bringing up the rear at 7.5 over under.
If Denver could get a quarterback, I'll take the over. Until they figure out the quarterback situation, I'm going to take the under because as talented as Denver is, very talented team, that quarterback situation is something else. Even with the backfield, you got a pretty stable backfield, I think. You got the wide receivers. You got one of the best tight ends. I done said this over and over. This division is the best tight end division in football. Just if you just break down the tight ends, you won't find 4 better tight ends than what this division going to give you. But the problem is you kind of need a quarterback to throw it to the tight end, and that's where Denver is at. So I'm going to take the under until I figure out what their quarterback situation is.
I think that tight end point still does stand up, even though the Chargers lost Hunter Henry. I think they brought in Jared Cook. So yeah, I think it still does stand up. I got my feelings hurt last year. I was believing in him. I was believing in Drew Lock. I think this team is almost, and I don't like this comparison, but they're kind of Cleveland light because I don't think I'm not a big believer in Baker Mayfield. I'm not sure you are either, but they are so talented around him that you don't need a whole lot from. I think Denver is a little bit similar. I think all they need for them to be above 500, which would give them an over, and actually 8 would give them an over. But Drew Lock you got to cut out the turnovers. If Drew Lock cuts out the turnovers, take care of the football, I think they get it over. And I think this team is definitely talented enough to get it over. They got to fix the turnovers. I think they do. They get it over. Oh, the Dallas Cowboys, as we move over to the NFC, they're getting love at 9.5 with the return of Dak Prescott. They were 6-10 last year, over under.
I'm gonna take the over. I think you got a happy quarterback. You got a semi-happy running back. If you can get that offensive line, if you can get them to stay healthy, it's not even if you can get them to play well. You just need them to stay healthy. If you can get them to stay healthy, you got more than enough when it comes to the wide receivers, tight end. You get Blake Jordan back. Mike McCarthy, second year in the program, in the organization. I think he's gonna be better. You got Kellen Moore. This is third year. I think he should be better. What the coach from Atlanta? He's the new defensive coordinator. So it's a lot going on there. I think they should be better. I'm gonna take the over just because the rest of the division, I don't know. Yeah. So I'm gonna take the over.
This better be an over, or somebody's gonna be. This better be an over, or else somebody's gonna be really upset with their investment. Give me the Jerry Jones up in the right corner camera the whole game for the whole season so I can see how disappointed he is when this becomes an over. And I messed it up. And under. I don't believe it. I really don't. The Cowboys, they're just born to disappoint at this point. Just like that little climactic thing I just did that didn't work. Anyway, yeah, they're an under. Washington at 8 with Ron Rivera and other assorted people out there. I don't know what they're doing for a quarterback. Over under.
I'm going to take a push. But before, I want to say this. This whole division is an under. I think people need to understand that. That is why we're struggling over here with this division. Yeah. This division is an under. It's ridiculous. But with Washington, I'm going to take a push. I think 8 is about that ceiling until they got a lot that needs to happen in Washington. Ron Rivera is doing some good stuff there, but Snyder not. So it's a lot that need to happen. With that said, I'm gonna give him credit for Ron Rivera being a hard worker and do what he do. I'm gonna give him a push at 8.
I was about to give them an over, but then I just was thinking about this quarterback situation, and I don't even know what it is.
Right.
Taylor Heineke. It ain't Dwayne Haskins. It's not Alex Smith. Something that you got to show me a quarterback, and I will give me something, and I will reevaluate. I want to give this over because Ron Rivera last year did a tremendous job, even though that division just stinks. But quarterback uncertainty, I gotta give him an under. The Giants with Joe Judge, Daniel Jones, and maybe Saquon Barkley will play at one point. They're at 7. Over under.
I'm taking the over. I think this is the team that's going to push. It's going to be between the Giants and the Cowboys for the division. I'm going to take the over. I think Saquon come back. Now he's learning the NFL game, what he can and cannot do, so he won't be hurt all the time. Daniel Jones ain't terrible. Was he the number 6 pick overall? Probably not. But he first round, okay, whatever. Joe Judge, as bland as he is, he got something going there. Him and old clap, they got something going on there. So that seems to be successful. And listen, it seems like they're in the market to get one of the top 3 receivers in the draft this year. Whether that's Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or Jaylen Waddle. So I like where they at, and I think they got things coming in somewhat of a full circle. But once again, like I said, this whole division is an under. But I'm gonna take the over on the Giants.
I'm disappointed. You said this whole division was an under. I'm hearing a lot of overs over there. I'm going under. I do think Joe Judge was fairly impressive last year until the last week of the season when he was crying about what the Eagles was doing with their quarterback situation. But I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley just can't get healthy for whatever reason. It's close. This probably is a push, but just because on principle with this division, it's an under. The Philadelphia Eagles, they don't have Carson Wentz anymore. They have Jalen Hurts. They have a new coach. I can't even remember who that coach is. They're at 7. That seems a bit generous. Over under. Nick Sirianni?
Sirianni, yeah.
I don't know. It's
absolutely under. It's absolutely. Like I said, like you just said, I can't call the whole division an under, then give everybody an over. They're definitely an under. Don't you worry about this. We got a coach out here. They call him Stuttering Stan and all that mess. You got Jalen Hurts out here. What do you make of that situation right now? It's too many positions that has to be rebuilt. It's a downright, should I say, clown show there. So with that said, I'm gonna take that awesome under for the Philadelphia Eagles.
This seems like you can make arguments for all the other teams that you can give them a little bit of love and give them an over, but I think 7 is way too generous based on what we saw last year. New coach, we don't even do the honor of giving him his name when we come in here. Jalen Hurts, I want to believe, but I just don't think he's got enough help. This roster, just when you look at it, they looking like a bunch of has-beens at this point. That's it. A lot of guys are getting old, and they have not revamped and retooled and reloaded. So yeah, I think this is an under. Now the NFC North, Green Bay 11. They were 13-3 last year. Over under.
I'm gonna take the over. I don't see. Green Bay look like the same pretty similar team from last year. I mean, he's still bringing back Rodgers. He still got a point to prove. We know what Jones and Williams do in the backfield. Need I say more about Devontae Adams? And it seems like the other guys they doing what they need to do. I don't know. I don't see a reason why they should drop unless the rest of this division is just going to come and knock your head off this year. I don't see a reason. So this is easy over for me.
Yeah, I think this is an over for me. Aaron Rodgers, they paid Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. You know about them Smith boys out there, Jair Alexander. Just so much to like about this team. They're also pretty solid up front with Kenny Clark. Don't forget about Dave Bakhtiari. So many good things to say. To me, this team, the question is just going to be in the playoffs. Can they make a deep run and be serious in the playoffs? And I swear, if they draft a quarterback in the first round, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it.
Do that again.
Vikings at 8.5. Yeah, that would be a 500 team. Over under.
I'm taking the over. I think Vikings are going to be a lot more improved this year. I think last year was kind of a shock for them, Zimmerman oh man, I gotta put in some work this offseason. But Kirk Cousins, he gets to come in there and be copy and paste like he do. Jefferson, we seen what he did. It went off last year. Thielen. But I think this offense for sure gonna run through Cook this year. And I think, all right, I ain't gonna draw it out. Anyway, I see the makings of this where the Vikings should be a more improved team. I don't see them taking a step back, so I'm gonna take the over.
They have to be an over. If this is not an over, this is Minnesota. Yeah, this is Minnesota. If this is not an over, I'm gonna take a position I've never took before. They should riot. If this is not an over, they should. Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins got to get it done with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. Mike Zimmer's defense will be better. This better be an over. Chicago Bears at 7.5. Over under.
Under. Are you kidding me? They have done nothing to make me believe. What? Even if they would have projected them at 5.5, I would have said under. Listen, I'm not. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Under.
Yeah, this is an under. Andy Dalton, really. There's a lot to ask out of this defense that is pretty good year in year out. They haven't been as good as they were a couple years ago, but I just can't get excited about Andy Dalton. I get excited about Allen Robinson, but I feel bad for him because it'd be nice to have a quarterback once in a while. The Lions at 5. Over under.
So this probably be one of the rare times you hear me use an analogy from golf. But I thought in golf, you got to have good kneecaps so they don't hurt on the course. And that's what we got here. So you add in kneecaps with golf, you're like, man, bad. Dude like the kneecaps. Golf we're going to take the under because we just don't know what's going on here. We're more interested in what Ford going to do with their next vehicle than this team winning. So I'm going to take that outstanding whopping under for the Detroit Lions.
I was about to say something about kneecaps, but I figured you scoop it on up for me. Yeah, 5. It ain't even that much to do, but much like the Texans, new coach. Now they got at least the Lions got a new quarterback. He might play. I don't think he's got legal issues going on right now, but I'm not a believer. And with all that in mind, yeah, this is an under. The Bucs at 11.5. 11.5 last year. Over under.
Oh, I'm taking the over. I think the Bucs got a chance to go undefeated this year. I'm saying it. Definitely your division champs. That's without a doubt. But the Saints, they should go undefeated in this division. I don't see the Saints winning the game. I don't see the Panthers winning the game or the Falcons. I'm just being real. This team signed for the first time since, I forgot what the date is, 1950 something or something like that. They signed all 22 starters. They want the smoke. They're going to come back. I think they're going to want the smoke. I think this division is going to be in trouble this year because Tom Brady, we seen how drunk he was after the win, so that means it matters. So with all that said, I'm taking the over by a large margin.
Yeah, I think this is an over. Reloaded, got everybody back, everybody that you could ever want. They'll probably still be bringing in more players. They're going to be drafting luxury positions. like the Chiefs were last year. Yeah, this is an over. The Saints 9.5, 12-4 last year. Over under.
I'm over. I'm gonna give them the over. I think even with Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, whoever they're gonna have, I think they're gonna go with Jameis Winston this year. With him back there, listen, if Jameis Winston don't turn over the ball, it's still enough talent on his team to get the job done to win 10 games. It's gonna be tough now because it's gonna be tough. You did lose, like you said, Cook, he's out of the building. So I think it's going to be tougher. However, I do see them win 10 because their defense is still stout. They still got what that going on for them. Sean Payton's still coming back. So you still got familiar pieces. But I'm going to say over at 10.
Close. Yeah, I struggle with this one as well. But I think I'm going to go under just because I'm going to have to see it proven to me that they can win without Drew Brees. They still are loaded at a lot of other positions. Hopefully they get Michael Thomas back and he has a big year. But without Drew Brees and with uncertainty, I'm just gonna have to see Jameis Winston play winning football and throwing the ball to his own team. I think the Saints take a little bit of a step back. I think the following year they'll be back up and running at full speed. The Panthers at 7.5 wins, 5-11 last year. Over under.
Over. I'm gonna say over. I think they could win 8 or more games is why. When this 0.5 stuff be killing me. I'm going to say over, though, because, listen, Matt Rule, second year, Joe Brady, second year. You bringing in Sam Darnold, you're going to have a little competition. Now, the defense should only get better because they was all brand spanking new last year, so they should get better. You still got your weapons at wide receiver. We know what Christian McCaffrey brings to the game. There's no need to bring that up. So with all that said, I see them going up, so I'm going to take the over for the Panthers.
Yeah, I think this is an over. I think the Panthers might be the most, that sleeperish team because they got a quarterback who got some upside. I don't think he ever really had that much of a chance in New York. I think Joe Brady brings him in, coaches him up, and I think we could see the Panthers at about 10 wins. I think they're gonna be a playoff team next year. I like what they've done. This is an over. The Falcons at 7 wins. They were 4-12 last year. Over and under.
Oh, I'm taking the under. They can't. I'm taking the under. I don't see a path to success, to be honest with you. I'm looking. The offense cool. They got some stars on offense. I ain't mad at that. The defense, not so much. And now it seems like you're looking to draft Kyle Pitts, because that's what you need, another weapon on offense. So if that is the case, I'm good on that. I'm gonna take the under.
Yeah, this is an under. I just had something about this new crop of NFL head coaches. I got to Google just about every one of them, and I forgot that it's old Arthur Smith out there just bringing all kind of excitement down there to the city. Yeah, it seems like it's just same old recycled offensive stuff that we see with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. You bring Kyle Pitts in there, yeah, I'm sure you'll score more points, but I'm not sold on this defense. I don't think they're much to get excited about. That this is an under. And to the NFC West and the Rams at 10.5, over under.
Oh, I'm taking the over. You best believe this. Sean McVay, one of the biggest brains offensively in the game today. You think they traded for Stafford and then don't have a plan ready? Oh, they about to be ready. The Rams, I'm taking the over on the Rams. I think he's going to take them to the next level.
Yeah, I think it's an over. Matt Stafford coming in there with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and don't forget about Cam Akers. Really got going for him down the stretch. Sean McVay, he's shown that he can, win at a very high clip in this league. I think it was a smart move to go elsewhere from Jared Goff. And Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, they do have other guys on this defense, although those two guys get all the love. Yeah, this is an over. The 49ers at 10. They were 6-10 last year. Over under.
I'm going under. Because the big thing with the 49ers now is Garoppolo going to hang on for 1 year, and the 49ers going to draft for his heir apparent and all this other stuff. But what I look at is They lost a lot of talent. I don't even know if they really supplemented the talent that they lost, to be honest with you. Like, I'm looking, they lost some pieces. I'm not feeling real confident about the 49ers right now. Now, Kyle Shanahan, I feel very confident about him, but that's about it. The only reason I ain't saying they're going to lose more is because of him. So, 6-10, they got him at 10. I'm going to take the under on that one.
I can see how people may think that they could, jump back into the swing of things. They were just decimated by injuries up and down the roster last season, but I think there's too much uncertainty here. The quarterback position, is it Garoppolo? They're doing a lot of moving around in the draft, so I'm not quite sure what to make of them. And I just don't forget also no Robert Saleh, so we don't know how that's going to impact that defense. So I feel comfortable taking the under right here. The Seahawks also at 10. They were division champs, 12-4 last year. Over under.
Push. I'm push. I gotta give him a push because I come on, man. Could Russell Wilson get an offensive line? Like, I don't get why he has to fight so hard to get protection. I don't get it. On the other hand, at least you did make some stuff happen with the guys that were supposed to leave. They ended up coming back. But then you lost your number one corner. You let him go off somewhere else. I don't know. I haven't seen enough out of the Seahawks that made me a believer that they got enough to, step forward. I'm gonna give them the same. I'm gonna give them the push. I think 10 wins about right for me.
Yeah, I think it's an over. I think it's a slight over, 11-6. I feel like that's a safe bet. It's Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. I know that they don't even care about drafting certain positions that we knuckleheads out here in the so-called media think are important. But regardless, Russell Wilson, he just put his old pack on and just stuff everybody in it and just carry him up the mountain to a respectable season. I think he does it again, and I'll take the over. And last but not least, the Cardinals at 8, over under.
I'm gonna use your line from earlier. This better be an over, or it's about to be a whole lot of firing going on. You already know my philosophy on this team right here. I keep telling you, I think Cliff Barry is about to get fired this year. And hey Cliffy, you better be over 8, or you get fired. You fired. So. Yeah, I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take the over because it has to happen for them if they want to keep things intact.
Ooh, I tell you, if this division's win projections come true, it might be over. And I hope Cliff didn't read this, because if he did, he's probably sitting up there sweating somewhere. They're like, oh no, I swear, if they don't get an over and they don't make the playoffs, he might be out of here because they've accumulated way too much talent to be, sitting here flopping around in last place. So, yeah, I'm going to say over. But even if I like this division, I think it's still the best division in football, and I think they got to make the playoffs. So he might be gone. And that's it. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Over Under. We'll be right back with the next segment.